everyone, and welcome to the Chisholm Report. Today, we're going to be talking about the DNC, the US Postal Service, and Robert Trump. And I have with me...
Hi, I'm Next Gen Democrats. You can find me at Next Gen Democrats on Instagram.
That's me.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Basim. You can find me on Basim Faruqi.
Hi, I'm Will. You can find me on at UhiDrinkSmartWater on Instagram and
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you, and let's get to this. I'm so excited.
And I think I forgot to say who I am, and I'm Isabella Scarlett, and you can find me at Isabella Scarlett _ on Instagram and at Isabella.
And then moving on to our first topic, which will in fact be the death of Robert Trump, which is Donald Trump's younger brother. He's died at the age of 71 years old from an unknown illness, and he left behind his former secretary and current wife of less than 6 months.
On the day that Robert Trump died, there was also a trend, Wrong Trump, that became very controversial on Twitter that was very debated that night. That was pretty much all of Twitter that night.
Yeah, we had a pretty intense debate. I'm gonna start. I just want to say, obviously, it's a tragedy. I understand what it's like to lose a family member, so my condolences to the Trump family. However, I think that there's a lot of debates from people who get offended. And I don't think that when people say, "Oh, it should have been Trump," that is obviously an ugly thing. However, I understand with the pain that Trump has caused in many people's lives, with the thousands of children gone missing in ICE custody, the 160,000 people whose lives have been lost from COVID-19. While I do think that it is, in a way, somewhat ugly, I don't feel... it sounds like a sociopath, but I understand where it comes from, and I don't. And again, when you are president of the United States and your actions have caused that much effects on people's lives, I don't necessarily think that you should be surprised, I guess.
Yeah, I think that the trend is... I personally don't like the trend. I see it as completely wrong, and I guess I can kind of understand it, sort of. Not really, but sort of. But I was not a fan.
I mean, a majority... I will say, though, a majority of the tweets are somewhat ironic, I could say. I don't think... I legitimately don't think people are, wanting Trump to die, but I do think it is... I think it's somewhat, ironic or, sarcastic or an exaggeration. That's me, but also it's Twitter, so, you never know.
I mean, I don't spend time on Twitter, so I don't really know any of these tweets, but all I can say is I don't think wishing death on... I think wishing death on anybody is just, extremely wrong.
However...
I mean... Well, I guess it could be debatable when we look at certain figures like the extreme Hitler. But I guess I just don't think you should really... I just don't... While I hate Donald Trump, I don't think he's too extreme enough for me to justify saying I think we should kill.
I mean, I don't think we should kill him. I mean, revolution, what, guillotine too? What? But I think that when this is gonna sound really messed up, but he has caused a lot of damage in the world, and while I do not want to wish death upon anyone, if he died, would it be easier? I'm not saying, I don't know.
I also wanted to point out that it is suspicious that he passed away from an undisclosed illness. It makes me wonder if it could have been coronavirus, but since Trump has been very...
Yeah, I don't want to speculate someone's cause of death or anything like that, especially right after they died, but he has had health issues in the past. He was old, and they released it as an undisclosed illness, which is really suspicious, so it might have been COVID.
Reiterate, Robert Trump did just get married in March of 2020. believe it was his second marriage, and it seemed like it was an unexpected illness or an unexpected death, because he was continuing his role at as being on the board of directors of ZeniMax, which is the parent company of many different online video game franchises, which include Bethesda Softworks. He is due to have a funeral on Friday, a small gathering. Oh, so we could speculate that he died of COVID-19, but we really don't know. And I offer my condolences to the Trump family. I pray for their health and their happiness, and I pray for him to be a better president. I am a Greek Orthodox. I'm Christian. So yeah. Does anyone have anything else to say about Robert Trump?
I think we could all hope for both Robert Trump and Donald Trump to be reunited again someday and be in peace together.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Robert Trump.
P.S. The U.S. Postal Service has been under fire from the Trump administration, with many high-ranking officials having been fired and displaced. So what are everyone's thoughts? There are many people who are saying that this is an attack against the safety of our elections and the credibility of the results of our elections. And then there are some, like Catherine Cortez Lujan, I believe. I don't quite remember her name. She is the senator from Nevada. She was bringing to light that many senior citizens actually get their medication from the U.S. Postal Service. So does anyone have any thoughts on the effect that this could see, or where Donald Trump, President Trump, may be taking this, or any thoughts at all?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is clearly an attack on the democracy, because Trump knows that at this point, if the things keep on going the way they're going, he is going to lose. And also, I actually saw a poll. I believe it was 69% of people who were voting by mail are going to support Biden. And I think it was another majority of people who were voting in person vote Trump. And I think that's partly because Biden supporters or Democrats in general tend to see the virus as more of a threat. So there's something like that. I think, and we have seen Trump have extremely almost fascist tendencies, trying to, if he does everything to, even if he does everything to rig the election and it fails, what he can succeed in is casting doubts on the election. And I think even if he loses and if he gets out of office, he will still somewhat thrive personally if we are not united. Because I think if he thinks that we are united after his leaving, then that says something about his presidency, and I think it should. So yeah, I think it's a complete basically a fascist dismissal, doesn't care about democracy, and I just think it's wrong, especially with the effect that it has on veterans, on the senior citizens, on just people who rely on it, people in remote areas. Millions of people rely on the Postal Service, and for Trump to try and cut it just for the sake of trying to save his election bid, I think it's disgusting. Also, I want to I just thought this was kind of funny. He tweeted saying, "Save the USPS," and I just find that funny and somewhat ironic, just because it'd be like Wile E. Coyote saying "Save Roadrunners." I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the precedent that trying to we could say he's dismantling it, or we could say he's trying to really rein it into his control, keep it on a short leash. But really the precedent for me that I believe that what the actions of President Trump in regards to the U.S. Postal Service. I believe that this is a very, it's a consolidation of power. It's even as Michelle Obama had just said during her DNC speech, he's normalizing this authoritarianism that's really, he's running rampant with it. And there's so many parallels that you can make to it. Such as, such as taking control of government run organizations is something that many previous, I'm not going to name what dictators did because we all know who they did, and I don't want to make comparisons that are completely in different ballparks, but many other authoritarian and fascist regimes started off with taking control of postal services and by taking control of other government-run organizations. So that's my take on this attack on the USPS, on the U.S. Postal Service.
What this impact will have on like the elder population, and if it will like change their perspective with the way that, because they seem to be the people that benefit the most from the United States Postal Service, since that's where they receive this. So I wonder if it might change their perspective on Donald Trump, since older people tend to vote for Republicans.
Yeah, actually, I was about to mention that not only is this attack on democracy, but also just electorally, it's completely stupid. There have been polls released where, Biden's been leading in every single age group. There was some poll that showed that right now, Biden is up by 5% among senior citizens. And if Biden wins senior citizens, it's game over for Trump. He can't win Florida. He can't win Arizona. He can't win Wisconsin. He can't win a bunch of states with a higher older population. This is clearly a Republican group. So not only is Trump trying to defund the Postal Service and attack on democracy, it is just bad for him in every single way. Not just people looking at him as fascists, but senior citizens who are now defecting towards the Biden camp, which has been unthinkable. They voted for McCain and Romney, and then a great amount. I'm not sure what the number is specifically, but he can not win without the senior population that this is greatly hurting. People need their insulin, their medication, their bills, sometimes just for the mailman to come in and mailman or woman to come in and just check on them and say hi. So yeah, I think that this is just not only incredibly fascist, but incredibly stupid.
I wouldn't go as far to call it like fascist, but I do think that it's definitely a horrible thing, especially around an election season, in which we're in the midst of a pandemic and lots of people are going to be voting by mail. It's definitely something that he's doing in an attempt to make the election go in his favor. And I think it's just absolutely horrible. And I agree that it's definitely going to make a lot of senior citizens go more towards Biden, which I believe that a lot of senior citizens are already going Biden's way. So this will really, really...
Maybe you could argue that it's not fascist, but more on the way to fascism. But either way, it's extremely, problematic. I think we can all agree.
Yeah,
I
think we all agree.
We all say true. Yeah,
in regards to the U.S. Postal Service, this is a very authoritarian stance to take. Not that President Trump hasn't taken many other authoritarian stances.
And I mean, it's also this is Trump can't just outright be oh, you can only vote me. So this is it's what he can do in order to be fascist. So even if it's not fascist in and of itself, it's the most fascist you can get.
GNC ended, and each one of us watched the GNC, and we some of us had prepared notes and some of us had thoughts, and I just want to run through a couple of the points that we made, and maybe we can start with what did we think was going to happen before the DNC actually aired? Did anyone have any like predictions that they thought would happen? Obama had been predicted to have a very aggressive stance towards Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders was supposed to make a speech about party unity and unity between nonpartisan unity. And we knew Gretchen Whitmer would be speaking, Andrew Cuomo, Bernie Sanders, of course. And we knew Michelle Obama would be speaking, as I've already said.
Yes, I did notice that they were very, very much harping on the Midwest. They were interviewing people of the Midwest, and I felt like there was this overall theme of like decency. And when the main theme of an election is being a decent human being, that kind of says something about, this election, but whatever.
I honestly thought that the best speech of the whole entire convention wasn't even from a politician. It was from the woman who lost her father to COVID. I thought that was just a moving speech, and it was just a fantastic speech.
My favorite part was when the girl mentioned how her dad died and how her dad like believed in Trump. Like her dad, like he supported him and he trusted him. And what was the result of that? Now he's dead, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the whole theme of the day, I believe, was supposed to have been unity and kind of uniting with Biden or uniting like with against Trump. And it was very like powerful to see George Floyd's brother there. Going into it though, we knew that John Kasich was there and he was going to speak in favor of Joe Biden, and that this whole day was supposed to be to bring Republicans, and some of those Republicans included Governor John Kasich, Governor Christine Whitman of New Jersey.
Yeah,
I wanted to agree with you that next gen, I think that you are extremely correct that the overall theme seemed to have been unity, not just unity within the Democratic Party, but unity within the entire country. And John Kasich made it clear when he said that Joe Biden wouldn't go far left, but that he would include Republicans into consideration, which I kind of thought was kind of like a slap to the face for progressives. But at the same time, I think that Amy Klobuchar's speech set the mood that like, it's better to have this and take us a step closer to like Bernie's goal than to not do it that.
But with like abortion and a bunch of other issues, he is pretty far to the right. So this is not like, the guy, a governor of Massachusetts who just happens to be Republican. He is a regular conservative, endorsing Joe Biden, while as a progressive, it does seem like a bit of a slap to the face. People are caring more about Republican votes than progressive votes. For John Kasich to endorse him, I think that kind of puts whatever tiny little bit of speculation about Joe Biden being some sort of radical left to rest. And I also want to say, John Kasich is
I kind of don't think, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't really think that they care more about Republican voters than progressives. I just think that they understand that they are more likely to go vote on election day and not just complain through Twitter and social media. And I'm really sorry to cut you off, Will. And same thing with Next Gen. I didn't really let you finish, so I wanted to apologize for that.
I thought, because the whole theme of the day, and it was clear, like they named the day Unity. I thought it was a little, having said that the whole day was about unity, I thought it was a little counterproductive and doing the opposite when AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, actually heavily criticized the presence of John Kasich at the convention. She was specifically grilling him in regards to his pro-life stances on, abortion. With that being said, I thought that it was a little more divisive. A lot of Democrats are also pro-life. And I think that it's something, and a lot of Democrats, I would say, not just Democrats, a lot of people who are politically pro-choice are personally for themselves pro-life. So I think that it's a precedent that even before the convention was being set by very far left progressives, especially in regards to when, before Joe Biden was the nominee, he got no end of hate especially when it was clear that he was going to win. And I think that is a big issue, not just with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but with the interior of the Democratic Party.
But John Kasich is definitely going to help Biden in Ohio, because John Kasich's very popular in Ohio, and Ohio is still a swing state that could still very well go for Biden. So I think that's like one of the main points of John Kasich, is to try to win the state of Ohio, or at least make it a lot more competitive than it currently is.
Your Cuomo speech which seemed a little messy. Amy Klobuchar was very she knew the point she was trying to get across was that the right to vote is fundamental. She definitely tied in her Midwesternness into it. The right to vote is fundamental. The nation needs to be unified. Middle America is so important. The Midwest is so important. Out of the many are one, and that was her metaphor for even tying it in with the primaries, where we had over 22 candidates. I'm all for it, but those things did definitely accelerate the virus.
Done where the Black Lives Matter protests and supposed to maybe the riots and stuff, but all the protests and did not have a significant spike. They didn't really significantly contribute. It was outside. Most of them were 6 feet apart, all wearing masks. So yeah,
It's going to be very interesting because it is only 60 seconds. I wonder, what is she going to say?
Yeah,
I'm curious, what can you say in 60
Well,
seconds?
I think it could be a blessing in disguise, because sometimes if a person's speech is too long, you get carried away and you don't remember anything they say. You're just what was that? But when a speech is short, the less, the more you could say, kind of.
That is
So
true.
if anything, she might do a poem or something.
I was just a bit disappointed because I was hoping it'd be an Obama 2004 situation where the speech could, propel her to even she's already having national fame, but could propel her to possibly a presidential run or just change her life in a way. But then I also understand that since there wasn't really a crowd and you won't be able to see the reactions people have. But I mean, yeah, I don't think that, I don't know if she'll be able to make that memorable with only 60 seconds, but I would love to be proved wrong, and I really hope that she can do something, memorable.
Yeah. In regards to her opinions, and in regards to, whatever she wants to say, the loudest person in the room is never in the majority. The people who support her are very young, and that, a lot of their opinions aren't going to be taken into consideration. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, instead of saying that it's 60 seconds forced upon her, she should be grateful for the opportunity for only being 2 years as a congresswoman. She should be grateful for the opportunity. People who support her, who I have nothing against, I think it's great that she has all this young support, but almost none of these people vote or have the ability to vote. So, it's a good thing. I think giving her a speech is putting a lot of respect into her, and I just hope that she doesn't turn it into something negative against the party.
I'm not.
Can I pop off for a second?
Myself.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not a progressive
Wait,
myself.
can we let Isabella talk?
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not a progressive myself, but I do think that progressives did deserve more representation in this convention for sure. And I think that giving AOC only 60 seconds to talk was a bit of a slap on the face to progressives. But I'm going to let the actual progressive talk. So, Will.
Yeah.
What happened with abortion?
We talked. Okay, AOC called out John Kasich for being an anti-choice extremist after he attended the DNC. and Next Gen's pointed that was extremely divisive given the theme of unity. And my point is,
I mean,
Wait,
one, for you to
also, hold on really quickly. Sorry.
Okay.
But AOC isn't the only progressive. We've had a speech from Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren is also expected to speak. And she's pretty progressive, so it's better than nothing. And will now continue. Sorry.
Okay, for you to say that, I'm sorry, that sounded really aggressive. Okay, I think there's this misconception that AOC's ideas are only really popular with like people in like coastal cities. That is simply actually not true. 69% of people support Medicare for all. Not 69% of Democrats, 69% of people, just in general. A majority of people support progressive policies. Like they heavily resonate with white working class people. That's why Bernie Sanders did so great among Trump's base in the 2016 primary. Progressive policies are the most selectable and are honestly like widely approved of. It's just that the Overton window in America has moved so far to the right that people say that AOC is radical, but a majority of people, not maybe a majority, but most people support her policies.
Although we may disagree, I think that we will figure it out and do really well. And I wish us the best. So yeah, who knows? We might quit after a month, or we might stick with this for a while. But I think we have potential a lot.
It's about to like burst into laughter before because Next Gen said that George Floyd gave us.
We knew that George Floyd would be speaking. We knew Amy Klobuchar would be speaking.
Well, do you really want that in your back?
What? Amadeus! Okay.
So my thoughts on John McCain are that even if you think he's like a horrible person,
I think you said John McCain instead of John Kasich. John McCain is dead.
My father.
I mean,
My father.
you did not have to go there. Hello?
Jenny, I think Jenny cut out.
Oh,
I want to wait for Jenny to come back.
Jenny?
Jenny.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
yeah.
we're back. Oh, oops, she did it again. She said, no, I am gonna leave.
No, I am gonna leave.
Really? She said, get that bag, get that head, then leave. Peace out.
Totally
Godzilla, I chip and I. Okay.
I'm just
Can you hear me? No, we cannot.
No, we can't
We
hear you.
cannot hear you.